night, what a night. Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good, feel good. I feel good, cause your perfume isn't loud.
Like I said, beautiful people, thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media. You're listening to Goal Diggin with Dagmar, and I'm your host, Dagmar D'Amour, your Carolina's agent. Unlock the home of your dreams with me, award-winning realtor and author of the critically acclaimed book, The Complete Guide to Buying a Home. Get the best buying, selling, and investment advice to find your dream property. Visit yourcarolinasagent.com. Today we'll be talking about healthy success and how a healthy lifestyle supports personal success and achievement. This show is being brought to you by Palatine Parcels, a boutique real estate firm specializing in luxury real estate, investment portfolios, and property management. The Palatine Parcels team is here to help you with your residential sales and your commercial venture needs. Licensed in North and South Carolina, they have the Carolinas covered. Call Palatine Parcels today at 704-750-0088 to speak with one of their expert realtors. Here to help me with today's discussion on healthy success is Dr. Monique May, also known as the Physician in the Kitchen. Dr. Monique is the author of the Amazon bestseller, Meal Masters, Your Simple Guide to Modern-Day Meal Planning, and the founder of Physician in the Kitchen. Dr. Monique is passionate about using her social platform to educate people on the health benefits of food while showing them ways to save time in the kitchen. A member of the American Academy of Family Physicians, she has received accolades as Resident of the Year in 1999 and Physician of the Year in 2019. And I'm sincerely humbled to consider her my homegirl. Monique, I'm so happy to have you here on Goal Diggin with Dagmar.
Dagmar, thank you so much for having me. You know it is my absolute pleasure and honor to join you today.
Yes, it's going to be exciting.
It is.
Okay. Zig Ziglar once said, "The man who earns $1 million but destroys his health in the process is not really a success." Numerous studies have demonstrated a strong connection between healthy habits and success with personal goals and achievements. A University of Georgia study showed that people who exercise regularly are more confident, better able to focus, and more likely to follow through in achieving their goals. A CDC study revealed that students attain significantly higher academic achievements when they incorporate healthy foods into their diet. I divide my goals into quarterly goals, and I break them into categories. So I have career, business, relationship, spirituality, and health. And my aim is to hit about 2 or 3 goals in each category. Sometimes I hit several goals across the board, several different categories, and sometimes I only get like 1 or 2. But I will admit that I consistently I miss the mark on my health goals. However, throughout the years since I've known you, I have learned some beneficial dietary adjustments that I not only found that they were simple to incorporate, but it didn't feel like a burden either. So I have the grillers, and I make that broccoli salad. I want to try that jerk jackfruit, and everything that you have cooked that has been plant-based, I have enjoyed tremendously. So I'm excited that you're here, and we are going to talk about this health and success, and I'm happy that you'll be sharing your insight with the listeners. So when we come back, we'll dive into our discussion on healthy success with Dr. Monique May, the Physician in the Kitchen. You're listening to Goal Diggin with Dagmar, and I'm your host, Dagmar D'Amour, your Carolina's agent, unlocking the home of your dreams. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and those streaming live through free TuneIn Radio app and through iHeartRadio. You're listening to Goal Diggin with Dagmar, and I'm your host, Dagmar D'Amour. You can connect with me on Facebook as Dagmar D'Amour Realtor, on Instagram as Your Carolina's Agent, and on the web at yourcarolinasagent.com. If you're just tuning in, we're discussing healthy success with Dr. Monique May, also known as the physician in the kitchen. So, I'm excited to get this going. And, we discussed in the open that we would be talking about healthy success and how that looks in the context of a successful life. What are your thoughts on health's role in the overall picture of being generally successful?
First of all, thank you again so much for having me on. And I want to congratulate you and give you kudos for what you said before the break about having your goals in different arenas of your life. That's so important to pull all that together. And whether you hit them or miss them sometimes, that makes you human. So, but good job on at least being cognizant of that. But to answer your question, being sick is expensive.
True.
It's expensive mentally, it's expensive physically, of course it's expensive financially. So, and it takes you out of your rhythm, it takes you out of your flow, and it doesn't allow you to fully contribute all that you can contribute if you're worried about what does this ache and pain mean, or how am I going to get this medicine, or I've got to go to another doctor's appointment. So all of that, kind of takes you out of the moment, takes you out of the game. So realizing and investing in one's health, and that's kind of one of my hashtags, as the young folks say, is invest in your health one plate at a time. Because what I try to do, and what we're trying to do now more so, is preventive. What can we do to prevent a lot of chronic diseases before the person becomes afflicted with them? And a big part of that is what you're eating, what you're putting on your plate, what you're feeding your body with. So being aware of those things and just maybe making some small changes there can have big rewards potentially down the line.
Okay. That sounds good. And like I said, I am incorporating those small changes. It's been 4, maybe 5 years.
Has it been?
I think so.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So, and, at first I was just very standoffish. I don't want to try anything vegan. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of gal. And even with the kids. So Zoe my children eat the vegan burgers.
Okay.
And they love the broccoli. They absolutely do. Xander loves your
the cake,
vegan chocolate cake.
Yes.
So from, the perspective of a doctor focusing on nutrition, why do you think so many people struggle with their health goals, especially when it comes to diet
and
nutrition?
So that's a loaded question, and that we need way much more time to go into. But the short answer, I will say, is a lot of it is how we're raised. Food it not only feeds our bodies, but food plays a role in so many ways. I mean, they don't call it comfort food for nothing.
That's true.
Right? If I challenge your listeners and your viewers, close your eyes and think about like your favorite dish. For me, when I do that, I think about my grandmother, right? Something that she made. So, it's not just what was on the plate. You feel loved. You feel, sustained. So it can be hard to change that, right? In a month or so now, we'll have Thanksgiving, and we know, right? Who's bringing this? Who's bringing that? There's somebody bringing grandma's potato salad or what have you. Because food is so, and that's a cultural thing that, almost any culture on this planet
absolutely
has this connection to their food. So that tells you that explains why that's going to be challenging. Also, too, I think our food industry has done us a big disservice. We've learned you got to drink milk, you got to eat meat to have protein. All these messages that have been pumped in over the years. And so for some people, the struggle with going plant-based or vegan is, well, am I going to get enough protein? How am I going to get my protein if I'm not eating chicken and steak and so forth? And short answer is, yes, you can get your protein. There's lots of ways to get protein. But that can be some of the obstacles as well. Another thing I'll say is people may feel that they can't get that same taste and feel mouthfeel or feel as satisfied from something that's vegan or plant-based when they're trying to, modify a well-known or well-loved dish. So those are some reasons why people may be a little standoffish or reluctant at first.
Okay, that makes sense. I had a friend several years ago that was looking to go vegan or vegetarian, and she was looking for a substitute of something. So it was something to substitute the burger or substitute bacon. And she feels that she failed because she was looking for the substitute. And she was expecting it to have the same taste. So do you find people have that same reason? And what can they do to...
I do. And I do with that myself. But if it's okay, can we kind of level set first? Because we've thrown out some terms. And I want to make sure your readers, your listeners,
please,
are on the same page.
Yes, please.
I'm an author, so I think readers and pages. But your listeners, make sure we're all on the same page. So vegan means... And I found myself, I'm using less of the term vegan and moving more toward plant-based. Plant-based just refers to the diet. You just eat a diet predominantly, from plants, from the earth, nothing animal-based, and also more whole foods, less processed. Whereas vegan actually encompasses that, plus also it's more of a lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
People who are vegan, true veganism, they don't wear leather. Or I read somewhere they don't read silk. They don't wear silk because those are involved. They're animal byproducts.
Okay.
So I describe myself more as plant-based. And then you also mentioned vegetarian, which includes the plant-based, but vegetarians will also eat dairy.
Okay.
So they'll eat milk, drink milk, eat butter, eggs, things like that are, of course, from an animal. So those are just some general terms. You have to have a realistic expectation. So, bacon is bacon, right? And I've been experimenting. Nothing's going to taste like bacon. So you have to realize that. And if you want to eat a piece of bacon here and there, you do you. Okay. If you're 100% plant-based, and bacon is not going to be, a pork-based bacon, I'll put it like that, is not going to be anything you're eating. But there are some substitutes now that you can buy, and I do recommend those with a word of caution, because some of they're highly processed, and so a true plant-based diet again is minimizing the processed foods. So when you're getting those vegan sausage or bacon or burgers, keep in mind that those are processed. They may have high levels of sodium or salt.
Okay.
They may have a lot of fat, saturated fat. So just because they're vegan doesn't necessarily mean that you want to eat them all day, every day.
Okay.
But there are, there's a way to make a carrot bacon that's very popular on social media. And then you just experiment with your spices. So there's like smoked. I use a lot of liquid smoked paprika, things that bring out some of those flavors. At least it may not get the texture, but the flavors that you associate with bacon, for example. But it definitely requires a realistic expectation, a mindset of, I'm going to try this, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll keep searching, or I'll try something else. But don't feel like a failure because it didn't go as planned, because you have to give yourself some grace. This is a process. It's not an overnight kind of thing.
It's a lifestyle
It's
change.
a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change.
Definitely. We will stop for a quick break. Welcome back. You're listening to Goal Diggin with Dagmar, and I'm your host, Dagmar Demore, your Carolina's agent, unlocking the home of your dreams. We've been here talking about healthy success with Dr. Monique May, also known as the physician in the kitchen. Before we went to break, you clarified the difference between vegan, vegetarian, and plant-based. So I do appreciate that. Has this always been your focus?
So I'm so glad you asked that question. The turning point for me would be when I turned 50, which was in 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020, right? The world shut down. So my birthday was about 3 months into the pandemic. I had plans to go to New York, which is where I'm from. I was going to just do it up. All that, of course, got converted to a Zoom party, and
yes,
the rest is history. But, you hit a major milestone, like, half a century old, and there's a pandemic. You start to take stock and wonder, what can I do to be better? And so I really started looking more into that. I never was a really big red meat eater, so that part wasn't hard. But for me, it was, I have high blood pressure. My grandmother died of heart disease. There's cancer in my family. What can I do to start to mitigate some of these risk factors? Of course, we can't change our family, family history, but what can I do to control it? And so then it was like it became fun, because as a physician, I'm, lifelong learner. And when I was in medical school, we didn't learn about nutrition and disease. Of course, we know diabetics should not eat a lot of sugar and so forth. But as far as like prescribing certain foods for things, we weren't doing that. We weren't taught that. So I've really started to, kind of drill into that. And that was also part of kind of like how the book came to be. So my book is Doc Fix My Plate, The Physician in the Kitchen's Prescriptions for Your Healthy Meal Makeover. And it's got, in addition to the 50 vegan recipes, it also has a blog that I had started where I just did the ABCs, Dr. Monique's ABCs, favorite foods. And it was my journey as I discovered or learned how to repurpose some of these foods. So all of it just kind of came together that way for me.
Okay, sounds good. We live in a busy world, and it's common for people to juggle multiple responsibilities, ranging from career to family to even entrepreneurship. What do you say to those that want to get started, but they don't know how to begin? So I've learned just from being in your presence, being around you. I have both of your books. What advice can you give someone if they wanted to start today?
Excellent question. And simply put, my advice would be just start where you are. And by that, I just mean, even if it's just one meal out of your day, if you want to start going more plant-based and you eat 3 meals a day, if you just want to start by having 1 meal a day that's completely plant-based and gradually go from there to maybe 2 days a week till you're eventually at your goal. It's much easier. There's a saying I've heard that I really like, and it says, what's the easiest way to eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. Yes. Probably not the best example if we're talking about being plant-based, right? But the point is, what may seem like a massive, unachievable goal or task can really just be broken down into pieces. So having some preparation, right? Because if you're doing it on the fly, then you may be easier to fall. It might be easier to fall into old habits or patterns. So a little bit of meal planning, meal prepping, saying, okay, this day we're going to have, beans as our protein. What can we build around this? Tacos, right? And go from there. So, and also I would say give yourself grace. Again, it's a process. If you're changing over from the way you normally eat, don't expect to master from A to Z in a week. Like, that's not realistic. And you're setting yourself up for failure, and then that leads to frustration and less likely to follow through. So all the F words that that you don't want to use. So that's pretty much what I would say.
So we know many facets comprise a healthy lifestyle, and we would all do well to incorporate as many of them into our lives as possible. But as a doctor, if there's one thing that you could mandate for every person to implement today, what would that be?
I know we've been talking about eating and food, but honestly, I would say the one thing is exercise.
Okay.
I would say get moving. Some form of physical activity most days out of the week. Yes, you should be eating plant-based proteins and all those things we've kind of talked about earlier already. But the link between inactivity and obesity, and that kind of starts to cascade or chain reaction for diabetes and heart disease and certain cancers and so forth. So I would say if people just got more active, not saying going out and run a marathon, saying everybody has to be a size 2, but some form of activity most days out of the week where you're getting a little sweaty, a little short of breath. Of course, clear it with your doctor first.
Okay.
But I would say that because I find that when I exercise, I don't want to eat junk. Like, I feel like
that does make sense.
I feel like I've done this hard work. Let me not undo it with eating something, not ideal. You release endorphins when you exercise, and that helps with pain, that helps with mood. Everything moves better when you move better. Quite honestly. So,
I like that.
Your digestion works better. It really, is good for your whole body. And then that with, of course, a healthier diet is ideal. But yeah, I think a lot of what we're seeing in this country, unfortunately, is just due to people not exercising in some capacity. So I would strongly encourage that.
Okay, that's good. After the break, we'll wrap up a discussion on healthy success. Welcome back. We've been having such a good time talking about healthy success with Dr. Monique May, also known as the Physician in the Kitchen. We know that you're passionate about using your social platform to educate people on the health benefits of food. Both of your books are Amazon bestsellers. Your Physician in the Kitchen is a successful brand. What else can you tell us about Dr. Monique May?
Well, I just want to thank you for this platform, because anytime I'm able to get the word out about what people can do to increase their health equity, I'm here for it. So if your listeners want to see or hear more about what I'm doing, they can come on over to see me on all social media at Physician in the Kitchen. I also have my new book, which is, as you mentioned, is a bestseller. But if they want to get a copy, it's at docfixmyplatebook.com.
Okay. It's been so good having you here. And I hope that my listeners and the viewers as well, they're able to take some of these nuggets that you've shared with us today and incorporate it into their lives for a healthier lifestyle. Your health is the foundation of your life. Your relationships, work, emotional condition, and financial situation all suffer when your health deteriorates. On the other hand, when you treat your body well, you have the energy needed to create a life full of abundance. I leave you with this quote from Brian Tracy to start the week. If you achieve all kinds of things in the material world, but you lose your health, you get little or no pleasure from your other accomplishments. Thank you so much, Dr. Monique. I'm grateful to everyone that tuned in, both locally and beyond. Please get in touch with me if you need help finding a realtor in your listening area. Get the best buying, selling, and real estate investment advice. Visit yourcarolinasagent.com. Continue to tune in every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Please remember to connect with me by going to goaldigginradio.com. Follow me on the socials at Goal Diggin Radio, including YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to be a guest on the show or want to learn about advertising and sponsorship opportunities, email media@goaldigginradio.com. Shout outs to Visual Vibes Media for producing the audio and video for the show. You've been listening to Goal Diggin with Dagmar, and I'm your host, Dagmar Dumore, your Carolina's agent, unlocking the home of your dreams. On WDRB Media, the voice of the community, for double the information and inspiration. Until we speak next week.
Oh gosh, what a night. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms.